Hey, what's going on, Scatterbrains? Thank you for coming back to another episode of Scatterbrains. See, my name is Travis, and I'm here for the final episode of Season 9 of Married at First Sight Charlotte. We're talking about the reunion, and all in all, this reunion wasn't much of anything. I don't really feel like we got a lot from anybody. Like, I don't really feel like we got more than we normally do, so I mean, I don't think it's going to take long for this review. So, I'll just kind of go through everything that happened, excuse me, and give my final thoughts. So, we first started talking to Gregorys. Iris walked in like, oh, Keith, you didn't want me no more. Let me give you a new wig. And Iris has been popping up a lot on my Explore page on Instagram. She's been doing a lot of photo shoots here in Charlotte with all these different wigs on. The wig she had on tonight looked nice, but one of them wigs she had on in one of the photo shoots was bad. But so, that, and Keith has his, braided thing going on. So I guess they both feel like I'm going to switch it up on these people. But excuse me. One of the things I did notice that early on in the episode was Iris still had her ring on. I guess in whatever the little holding room that they had them in, she still had her ring on. And I didn't understand that. But when she actually, I think, came into the room with Kevin Frazier, she didn't have it on. But that's something I noticed. So for pretty much what happened with everybody is they made everybody look back over what happened over the season, talked about how things were during the season, then talked about how things were post-season after the cameras left. So that's the consistent thing that happened with everybody. So I'm just going to kind of pull out different things from each couple. Excuse me, I don't know why I'm having to clear my throat so much, but as far as they're concerned, let's see, what can we talk about with them? When they do the look back, Iris, I'm sorry. When they do the look back, Iris gets emotional because I think Iris was really in this, and all in all, at the end of watching Gregorys' segment, I still feel like there's something we don't know in regards to Keith. There is something that we are just not aware of when it comes to him and how he felt about Iris. Now, what it is, I don't know, but we're missing something. There's some pieces to this puzzle that are just not there. So we're not going to talk about the stuff that happened over the season, but they discussed decision day. They asked is there anything that you would have done differently? And Iris says that she would have pushed the topic of her virginity more. Now knowing how Keith felt about it, I guess she would have tried to have more conversations to get him in a better place. But that's the part that for me, there's just something more to this story that we just don't know. For Keith, he tried his best to explain why he made the decision that he did, but I get it, but it still didn't fully make sense. He didn't do a good job at fully expressing why he said he wanted a divorce. And I kind of think that still may be a part of Keith wanting to protect Iris or protect her feelings or not want to embarrass her or something along those lines, because he said his biggest issue was intimacy, and Iris was like challenging everything he said. Every time he brought up something, she would say, well, but didn't I do that? So it almost leads me to believe he just didn't want to be with her. That's kind of how it made me feel. Now, y'all let me know if y'all felt that as well. But to me, I was just like, I just don't think he really wants to be bothered with her. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. So he brings up the condoms issue being a red flag. When she found them in her reaction, he was using that as validation for the things that he was feeling. But for her, it didn't make sense, and it didn't make sense for me. Now, one thing that they both said that I think was an important thing was their expectations were different as far as this whole experience was concerned. For Iris, in her mind, she felt like her commitment was beyond the 8 weeks. She felt like it was going to take more than the 8 weeks to really make this work, where it seems like for Keith, he believed he only had the 8 weeks to make everything happen. And because it didn't happen in the 8 weeks, that affected his decision. Now, that's what I got from it. Y'all let me know if y'all got something else. Now, they asked them, have they talked since? And they talk. I think they said they've been to dinner and stuff like that. And they also asked, would you date the other person in the future? Iris said, she said something along the lines of, if Keith did what he needed to do, yes. But Keith said he didn't know. Kevin really wanted Keith to give him a yes or no answer. But for me, I felt like that question it didn't warrant a yes or a no, because I'm sorry, y'all. Let me just break the video right here so I can clear my throat. I don't know what's going on with my throat right now. But Keith said it wasn't anything he felt like he could say yes or no to, and I felt like I understood that because Keith has gone through this whole process with her. He knows how things were with her. But he doesn't know how she's going to be posted. He doesn't know how he's going to be posted. So to be able to say, would you date somebody in the future? That you don't know, because you don't know where you're going to be in the future. So it totally made sense to me why he couldn't say yes or no. So he eventually just had to say no, because they were pressing him for an answer. All right. And lastly, one thing he said he thinks he's not ready for a wife, and he thinks she's not ready to be a wife. And she said, well, you can't speak for me, which he can't. But I think that that's really maybe a part of what it all boiled down to for Keith, is that he was not ready for this process, because even at the end of the episode, when they had all 4 couples there and asked everyone do you feel like you were really ready to be married, he was not one of the ones who raised his hand. And I think that that's a telltale sign that he was not ready for Married at First Sight. And maybe that was the biggest contributing factor to why, things ended up the way that they did. But let's go ahead and move on, because we've been talking about them for long enough. Quickly about Gregorys, everything's going well for them. They're still together. Quickly, I wanted to say this earlier in the season, I didn't. This whole tradition about eating a wedding cake, the top of a wedding cake, a year later, that's nasty. I don't know where that came from, who thought that that was a, what's it called? It's not a tradition. It's superstitious thing, I don't know who came up with all of that. It's stupid. When they asked me and Carmen if we wanted to keep the top of our wedding cake, we looked at each other and said, ugh, nobody wants that. No one's gonna eat a cake a year from now. Cakes have eggs in it. Who's eating year-old eggs? Ugh. So, okay, I just meant to say something I meant to say that during the season and I didn't. But they discussed how things were off camera. They talked about the transition period of not having everything you do documented and filmed. And I can imagine that is a big thing to deal with, because you spend all this time with people in your face with a camera, and now it's just y'all, and that's the time when you can really get to know each other. But things are going well with them. They both have said that they love each other. They're moved into his place. And one thing I don't like that people do with new married couples, is asking them about babies. I think that that's something, just as a society, we got to get out of asking people about when you're going to have a baby. But they are expecting a nephew, even though it's not really them expecting it, but her sister's pregnant. So they're about to have a nephew, so great for them. Moving on to Mamber, I'm over Matt. I really don't want to see him on my TV ever again in life. So watching him this episode it was a struggle for me. I was really tired of seeing him, because he's so freaking nonchalant. And it just was irking the crap out of me, because I'm like, he got exactly what he wanted out of this, like I said last week, and he does not care. He is only there so he doesn't get fined. He is only there so he doesn't get fined. But they start off talking about, well, what attracted you to each other? And when she started giving him, he was so dead faced, but when she started giving him compliments, he lit up like a crackhead who was back in the trap house. He was just excited when she started giving him compliments, and that shows me how self-centered he is, but that's something we already knew. So he says out his mouth that he realized that this was not going to work 15 minutes in. So if you realize that this was not going to work 15 minutes in, why did you spend the next 7 weeks, 6 days, 23 hours, and 45 minutes? I don't know if that equals 8 weeks, so, y'all do the math. But why would you spend all that time going through the motion if you knew immediately that it wasn't going to work? He had plenty of opportunities to get out of this, and he didn't, because why? He wanted that check. That's how I feel. So I just, and Amber's body language was just so she was trying to scoot over as far. At one point, he said something about needing space. She tried to move even further over on the couch, and there was no space left. But you could just tell that Amber does not want to have anything to do with him. And it just seemed like she was just trying to be as far over as she could on the couch. She did say that she hopes they can be cordial. I'm like, why do you even want to be cordial with him? He is not someone who is he is not even worth a hey or a bye from you. So you don't even need to be cordial. You don't need to be cordial with him. He's showing you that he does not care about you. So why do you feel the need to have to speak to him? They kept talking about how small Charlotte is. And I'm like, Charlotte can be small, but I ain't never seen none of y'all day in my life. And I never forget a face for the most part. But even if Charlotte is small, you still ain't got to speak. Whatever. So they ask him, was he seeing another woman? He says no, but one of his guy friends said that he was. The girl at the bar, he says, what happened there? He says nothing, but Amber says, well, that girl told me y'all slept together. So clearly, somebody lying. At this point, I don't know who it is and I don't care, but somebody's lying. And Amber is really going to have to do some have to look in. She made, and I don't know if I was reading this wrong, but she made some statements that made me feel like she's been having fun. And I don't think that this is the best thing for Amber to be doing right now. I really think Amber should have been using this time after this experiment to be getting to know herself and to be healing up all of those things from her past and all the things that Matt did that affected that, not laying up under somebody new. But that's what I got from what she was saying. She didn't say that, but that's what I got. So, I might be wrong for that, but he says he's currently in transition. It's like, what else is new? Matt's whole life is a transition. How he came on this show with no family and the experts never caught on to any of this blows my mind. Completely makes no sense to me, but he's still in transition, whatever that means, which means he's probably, I guess, staying one of his girlfriends. And we got, they gave us self-taped updates for some of them, but we didn't get it for everybody, which I thought was kind of weird. Like, we got one for Iris, and she was all like, I'm living my best life, and I know that God has something great for me, and I'm not worried about it because I know he has Iris, I'm pristine white up in this piece. We got that from her. We got nothing from Keith, and we got one for Gregorys, and we got one for Amber, and we didn't care about not getting one from Matt. And finally, we talked to Jezebeth. They said that they've had some ups and downs since filming ended. They did break up, but they're back together. They have worked on how they talk to each other. And they showed us some clips where, like, Beth was in, like, see-through lingerie, and it was, like, blurred out. And I was like, we didn't see that during the season, or at least maybe I just missed it, and I was lucky. And then, like, dang it, I saw it tonight. I'm like, if y'all didn't show us this during the season, we didn't need to see it on the reunion. I didn't need to see Beth in. No, just keep it, that's for y'all. But they said things are a lot better, and he moved in with her. And they said something about wearing matching underwear, and I'm not really sure what that means. I didn't know that matching underwear was a thing for men and women. Now I know, there's a whole community out. Never mind, I can go down that road. But I mean, I don't understand, like, how y'all wearing matching underwear. Like how does that work? Never mind, I don't want to know. And quickly, we meet with all the couples at the end. Just a couple of things to point out. They talk about Jezebeth and the day at the racetrack where she flipped over and threw the coffee table. I think it was clear that whenever the reunion was filmed, that episode hadn't come on TV yet, because the couples, everybody else's reaction while that clip was running was like, oh snap. They all looked genuinely surprised at that had happened. So, but in talking about that segment, Beth was getting upset all over again about that day. So she just was telling Kevin to stop asking her questions and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, boo, you're getting paid to be here to answer questions. Like, get over yourself and answer the questions. It's not that deep. Let it go. So, never mind. Then they talk about Iris's virginity, give everybody's opinions on, how would it have been if you had married a virgin, all of that kind of stuff. And for everybody, they talked about that it is a heavy thing. It's a serious thing to deal with, and that's something we all know. And then finally, we talk about Amber, and we find out that Beth was getting information about Matt during the process that she was telling Amber. So it's like Amber was getting told left and right about Matt. And, if they both had been completely honest, and I don't know whether Amber confronted him or not, but if they had both been completely honest about everything that was going on, they probably would have split up a long time ago, because it's not like that hasn't happened. When I reviewed Married at First Sight, it had to have been like season 4 or something like that. That one couple, they broke up like halfway through the show. So it's not like that's unheard of, for it to happen. But so let's see. Matt is checked out throughout this whole thing. He just doesn't want to be there. So he says that he's glad there are people there who care for Amber. And Beth and Jamie announced that they're moving to California. Good for them. You move to California with somebody you've only known for like 3-4 months. Hey, Godspeed, God bless. Hope everything goes all right with you. And the last stupid thing we see Matt do is when they're kind of asking everybody what they learned. No, what is the advice they have for the next city, which is DC, because they showed a preview that wasn't a preview. It was just another matchmaking looking thing, which don't show us anything. But they ask everybody what their advice is, and everybody's kind of giving advice and kind of looking at their spouse or ex-spouse for like validation. And Amber gives her advice and looks at Matt, and Matt is like not even paying attention. And the music was like, doo-doom, doo-doom, oh. I mean, it wasn't that music, but it was close to it. And I was just like, just let him go home. Just let him go home. But that was it for the reunion. The reunion was not very eventful. We didn't get anything that I felt was new. It wasn't like, oh my gosh. I think from what I'm hearing from y'all, like last season's reunion was pretty good. So as far as the two are compared, y'all have to let me know down in the comments, you know, how the two seasons compared. But all in all, it was an okay season. You know, Charlotte was decent. You know, it's my city. I'm happy they did it. I don't feel like they made us look terrible, which is good. But, you know, it was cool. Now, the floor is open. I made a post on YouTube for y'all to make suggestions on shows, I should watch and review. Now, this is not a guarantee it's gonna happen, but now that Married at First Sight is off at least until January, if there's a show that's out right now that you think I should give a chance and you would like to hear my review on, leave it down in the comments and I will see. You know, last week I said I had a cold. It's still all breaking about my system, so maybe that's what this is, but leave it down in the comments and let me know what shows you think I should give a chance and review. And we'll see. We'll see. Maybe a review might pop up. Well, I don't know. But don't suggest any of these shows that's like 2 hours long. I don't have the time for a 2-hour show. I barely had enough time for an hour-and-a-half show like this. But let me just also say to all my scatterbrains, I want to thank y'all again so much for watching my Married at First Sight reviews. It means so much to me. I truly appreciate those of you who actively seek out my videos because they don't pop up or because they do pop up. You know, however you arrived here, I appreciate you. And thank you so much for rating the videos. Thank you so much for all the comments. Some of y'all have been going back and forth in the comments and I just kind of stay out of it. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for the new subscribers who are new to the channel. Hey, what's up? I'm Travis. And I really do appreciate y'all's support. I do. So, like I said, I'm open to reviewing something new, but you just got to tell me what it is that you would like to see. And the thing is, if you're going to suggest it, you got to make sure you watch it. Because if nobody is watching it, I'm not going to review it. You know, it's just, that's how it is. But I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. Again, thank y'all so much for watching my reviews. I'm going to try to get some other content up. We're going to Disney on Ice on Saturday, so I'm probably going to vlog that day and put that up. But thank y'all. My name is Travis, and I'll be talking to y'all later. Peace.